baru 13 can and then baru 17 student yang ada. Kita ada lebih kurang 32 orang pelajar. So I will share the attendance letter lah. I'm going to start with the today's sharing session. I think as we mentioned last Tuesday, basically we're going to continue with chapter 2 and chapter 3. So chapter 2 lah, I focus on chapter 2. By the way, apa khabar semua? How are you guys?
Kau baik.
Hi Chris, hi Anissa. I'm going to meet you tomorrow. Is it? Yes. Okay.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. So saya dah tengok. I forget to actually give the feedback. But I love when some of the group, basically when you send your detail with regard to the group informations as well as for the first assignment, I mean for our assignment detail, ada hantar the file tu tak tulis nama group, so it's quite confusing. Next time when you submit, I mean any kind of group work that you submit to this class, okay, make sure you actually put the group name first, at least the group number, followed by what basically the title of your project and your name. Okay, so if you just simply put it without any kind of description, it's very difficult for me to know you are from which group. Can you do that in the future, guys? Okay, so group 1, group 2, group 4, group 6 did that, but the rest of the group basically just simply submit without any group names on the file names. Okay, can you do that in the near future? Okay, so we actually need to finalize the title of your the selection of your company one, and then the scope of your study, which is the second aspect that we're going to discuss. Because I believe that as expected, this is happens not only during the semester, I mean during the first few years, I mean previous student as well. So basically the student also have the tendency to choose marketing. So I have like, right now we have 3 groups that want to do something related with marketing. So we need to actually change, some of the group need to change the direction, okay? It's not about marketing when it comes to technology strategy. There are a lot of things. For example, you can also focus on human resource. To what extent, for example, the company manage their employees, particularly among the technical professional. Okay, and then I think 3 group basically have proposed to do a topic on marketing. Unfortunately, I believe that I need to reject it. 1 or 2 group need to change the direction of the topic. Okay, so I'm going to discuss that first, and then maybe I'm going to go to chapter 2, and then hopefully I can actually finish by 11:30, and after that you can basically make a group discussion within half an hour to finalize what basically to draft the question, the interview question to be asked. Okay, so I'm going to share with you. Saya tak tahu sekejap because I need to look here. Preview. So this is from group number 2. Can you see here? Fazli, Riway, Faiz, Akmal, Arfan, and Iqbal. Are you guys here? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so this is basically your proposed company. I actually would love if you can go to conduct the interview with John Parking apps. Okay. So try. I believe that this is more approachable. However, would you actually try to change the topic rather than marketing? Hello, guys. Can you actually give your feedback?
If I'm not mistaken, in the group WhatsApp, and we have chance already. We chance to customer relationship management. Is it okay?
But another company, I think I have seen one company also propose customer relationship. Okay. Maybe what you can do is actually more focuses on some kind of technical aspect. That means technical support. Yeah, customer service can, but you need to focus more or less towards because John Parking basically they have two aspects for their business. They are using IoT, they have the apps, and they have this kind of hardware. That means the parking system. Okay. So try to actually focuses on the technical support aspect. How basically they try to what we call it manage this kind of aspect, and then because Jom Parking, if I'm not mistaken, is not only focuses on the Klang Valley. Maybe you can see to what extent they try to manage those parking system that actually outside of Klang Valley. I believe that even in Johor, if I'm not mistaken, some of the parking facilities also using this kind of apps. Can you do that? Riway and Tim, Faiz, Fazli, Iqbal, Arfan and Akmal.
Technical support and doctor.
Something like that. It's like not technical support. That means macam mana they manage. For example, let me give you the example, because this is technical support. But how basically they manage the employees, for example, how they make sure that, because when it comes to parking, people want to park, but what happen if the system basically down? Contoh, palang tak boleh nak buka, apps tak boleh nak berfungsi. Contoh. So how basically they try to rectify this issue immediately. So maybe you can see from that perspective what basically the strategy or the tool that being used. You faham tak? Maybe you try to understand the problem that being faced. You can actually try to get the feedback from the customers who are using it, and you give the feedback. But at the same time, you also try to understand what basically the plan or the tool, the method that being adopted by the company to solve or to rectify this issue. You faham tak maksud saya ni? Have you ever used Jom Parking Service ni? Pernah pakai tak?
Tak pernah doktor.
Macam mana you pakai? Okay. Dia gini, sebab to tell you the truth, I have downloaded the apps before. I think about a year ago in KL. I want to use it, but saya ni based on my own experience. Okay. And then suddenly I do not know how to use it. It's not actually working well, and I need to park at other place lah because it's not working well. I believe that maybe you try to find some background, and then because the background of the company, where is the location of the service provided or rendered. So after that, try to understand from the technical perspective lah. Faham tak maksud saya ni? Rather than marketing. Boleh?
Yes, doctor, understand.
Okay, tak apa. Nanti you discuss in the group. I'll give you the room to discuss on that. And then, wait saya... Kalau saya buka ni nampak tak? Can you see?
Nampak doktor.
Consultancy project report by Arif Kurniawan team. Can you see? Tak nampak
Nampak.
Okay. Melissa, Jopi, Rifat, Sadiq and Tri Putri. I would love because cuma saya tahu nak buat tajuk apa ni. You actually put what the company background. You propose 3 companies. That's very good. I can see the background, and indeed it's basically located in Indonesia. All the companies that you propose in Indonesia. I would love if you actually can focus on number 1. Hello, anyone from group number 4? Anyone from group number 4? Would you please give some feedback? Hello. Arif, Melissa, Jopi, are you here?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, Arif. So I'm going to actually request your group to focus on company number 1. It's quite interesting. I think this is something that not so much advanced in Malaysia. Because Indonesia, undeniably, Indonesia and Thailand are much better in terms of agriculture, and you started to adopt this kind of agriculture technology. Even in Malaysia, I think this week they just launched an initiative to promote the adoption of technology among the farmers, and then the government basically allocated 200 million to the farmers, whereby they can apply for the funding. Okay, I believe that Malaysia is quite left behind in this aspect. So that's the reason why I actually want you to focus on this. But I want you to actually choose one topic. Can you discuss after this among your group members what topic that you think is related with what we call it with the company? Boleh, Arif?
Yeah. Yes, sure, doctor. Sure.
Okay, doctor.
Good. Okay, focus on this. Try to make connection if possible. Because the next aspect that you need to do is actually to conduct an interview. So try to set an interview. If this should be an online interview with the key people of the company. Okay. Okay, so that's actually for team number 4. I go for this team. Team ni tak tulis nombor. Team number 3. Okay, masa dia submit dia tak tulis. So team number 3, Atika Wante, Atika Alia, Hani, Zanita and Nurul Iza. Okay, so you actually any representative here? Boleh nampak tak?
Yes, doktor. Dengar tak?
Dengar, okay. Atika Wante here. So, so kalau tengok dekat sini, you propose your group. Nampak kan? Saya buka ni.
Nampak.
You punya PDF site. Okay, saya nak awak fokus kepada number 1, OEM factory. It's quite interesting. And then just proceed with the title, R&D management in small tech firms, because OEM is quite interesting. This is actually a company that normally provide an opportunity for the startup, for the entrepreneurs to produce their own product without having any factory. So that means they are focusing on contract manufacturing services. Betul kan? Okay.
Betul.
So saya nak tahu contohnya kan, macam if I go to this factory, I can actually demand, I want to create a health supplement that actually produced from apple as well as habatus sauda, campur produce. Keluarkan nama saya Umar Healthy, for example, and they're going to what we call it manage everything from the nutritional fact until packaging as well as halal cert. Am I right? Betul kan?
Betul. IM ni memang dia buat macam tu.
So saya hanya bayar 20,000 contohnya untuk dapatkan 20 kotak produk saya jual. Am I right?
OEM ni dia fokus dalam 10,000. Dia akan buat untuk produk yang lebih daripada 10,000. So baru dia fokus betul-betul.
10,000 minimum lah. Okay,
Yeah.
faham. So it's quite interesting lah. That's why you nampak nowadays the product that focuses on health supplement is quite increasing lah. It's like people are what we call it are much more interested to produce a product like this. Okay. Boleh, thank you very much. So you proceed, title you pun saya suka, R&D management. So how basically R&D management, walaupun you actually buat R&D management, definitely part of the question that you need to ask, for example, how much basically the amount they spend for the R&D. So what kind of employees that they hire, which is scientists ke yang tahu this knowledge, and how they basically manage this kind of things. Memang agak menarik this topic. You can proceed with this. Okay, good. The next is actually group number. Saya tak tahu group apa ni. Group number berapa ni? Nampak tak group number berapa? Saya tak nampak lah sini. Group number. Ni group number berapa ni? Hello? Hello, any representative from this group? Ni group nombor berapa ni?
Number
5.
5.
Okay, group number 5 because you hantar runcit-runcit. Okay, that means you do not actually put the name. Sekejap, okay. Asian Robotic and Chubby basically two startup from the students or alumni. I know the founders. BG is actually one of the social enterprise. Okay, I would love if you can go to Chubby. Okay, can you actually focus on Chubby? Topik yang you propose ni sebenarnya lebih ke marketing. Tolong tukar. Okay, Chubby ni maybe you can it's quite interesting with Chubby. Boleh tukar marketing, semua nak marketing. You tahu tak Chubby? Okay, Chubby ni dia buat smart charging technology. They actually started this project during their PSM at UTM. These three co-founders, they're coming from electrical engineering students. Okay, and then I think the interesting part that I would love to propose if you manage to approach Chubby is regard to the funding. Macam mana they actually get the funding? Can you focus on the funding part?
Okay, Doktor.
Funding management, something like that, or how basically they manage to get some funding and manage that. How that means focusing on financing aspect of the small startup firms. Boleh? Okay, financing, that means how they start and then how basically they manage the financial aspect. So what challenge that they face, something like that. Okay? Can you do that? Aina, Malini, Anissa, Nurashikin, Diana,
Can, Doktor.
and ni Hazel Kahwai. Okay, Hazel. Hazel tak datang hari ni, dia dah inform dekat saya. Okay, so discuss, focus on that. Boleh? Okay. Okay, so this is group number 1. Faik, Christopher, Yuman, Naziha, Apple kan? Lead bank ni Apple kan? And the last one is Sabah. Okay, so sama juga marketing. Pening. Okay,
Maaf doktor, kami dah tukar jadi business development.
business development. Okay.
Ya. Masa tu kita nak cadangkan business development, people operation, tapi kita fokus business development saja doktor.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. Sipnes apa nama dia? This is actually Sipnes and Quick Halal. Basically, the founder are UTM lecturers. So Global Tech IT Solution ni mana Why did you propose Global Tech IT Solution? Hello, Faik, Chris, Yuman, or anyone from this group? Okay, why did you propose this company? Any kind of reason? Okay lah, tak apalah. I'm not pretty sure about Global Tech. Because you just give me the Foursquare.com. Foursquare ni macam location. Why sebenarnya? Okay, it's not the website. Foursquare tu is not the website. So basically, I would suggest you to go to the company number 1, machine learning solution. Okay, and then I agree with your proposed title, business development. I want to actually know from where they start. I think this is Dr. Af, one of my good friend as well. So the founder. So basically, I want to know where it started, how they develop, and the future direction. For the machine learning, it's quite interesting. Focus on that kind of aspect as well, the technology, because machine learning is something that quite in line with the industry 4.0, and then a lot of product could be simply developed through machine learning solution. Boleh? Okay? Okay, so for this team, ada tak team yang saya tak discuss lagi? Any team yang saya belum discuss? Semua dah ya? Guys, feedback please.
Group 6 doktor.
Group 6 ni dia hantar runcit-runcit sekejap ya. Saya tahu group 6. Group 6. Can you see this? Allah. You hantar yang ni satu. Yang ni you hantar. Group you memang ni je ya? Tak ada kosong.
Yes, dokter.
4 orang je. 4 people.
Iya. Iya.
Okay. Nafas sebentar ya. Group 6, you hantar document. Wait a moment. You need to share your... This one?
Dokter.
Di pena. Okay. Quite interesting lah. Warung pintar ni apa ya? Warung pintar?
That's like distributor for like kedai runcit, dokter.
Kedai runcit.
Iya, distributor.
Distributor. Panggil aku aja.
Suka cleaning service gitu, dokter.
It's like an app or what?
Apps.
Or they provide the service through app. It's like what we call it a platform lah, a ride sharing platform that connect the customers and the service providers. Am I right?
Iya, dokter.
Okay lah. So please, so you nak buat apa customer satisfaction ni buat macam mana ni? Would you please elaborate how are you going to conduct a topic on customer satisfaction if I ask you to choose panggil aku aja? Panggil aku aja. Interesting. Naufal?
Iya, dokter.
Yes, explain.
Wait, dokter.
Sorry?
Wait, dokter. Harus
Okay.
my group first.
So the location basically in Bantin. Where is Bantin?
Banten is in Indonesia, dokter.
Yeah, I know it's Indonesia.
Ya, so Tangerang ya.
Where is the location? Bantin?
Near
In-
to Jakarta.
Yogyakarta.
Itu Jakarta, dokter, Jakarta.
Jakarta. So how are you going to approach this company?
Ya, dokter.
How are you going to approach this company and conduct the interview?
One of the founder is our friend, dokter.
Oh, that's good. Okay, you may proceed with panggil aku aja. So I think you just need to refine the topic. I'm not pretty sure to what extent you want to develop this. Maybe you can actually choose other aspect as well. Rather than customer satisfaction, maybe you can choose other aspect with regard to the app development. For example, maybe you can actually choose. Can you choose something related with human resource if possible? How basically human resource aspect.
Okay.
So I want you to get an overview, okay, the quality of human resource, how they're going to actually hiring those programmers, technical people, marketers in operating the business. Can you do that?
Okay, dokter.
Change to human resource, because when it comes to this, definitely they need a group of people who are very good in terms of technical aspect. Okay, the programmers, what else? The content developers, for example. And then at the same time, they also need to have a group of people who are very good in marketing or approaching the customers. Okay? So when you focus on human resource aspect. Okay, I think that's actually the discussion. So for today, you can start basically focusing on the topic, on the company that has been approved, as well as the topic some of you need to refine as we discussed just now. The next aspect is you need to develop the survey and questionnaire, the survey and not questionnaire. You need to actually have the survey. Up to you. Okay. Ideally, based on the assignment, you need to conduct an interview with one key people. What I meant by key people, For example, if I'm actually advise you to do something related with human resource like this group, okay, panggil aku aja. So that means you need to actually approach those key people in human resource. For example, human resource manager or human capital manager. Okay, try to approach him, as well as maybe you can also request that you also want to interview other people. Normally, when it comes to selecting and recruiting people, not only human resource will be involved, other managers also will be involved because they know better the criteria of selecting the employees or the talents inside the company. Okay, so you actually should at least interview one key people, but it's up to you if you want to have more interviews with the key people in the company. So you may proceed with that in order to get more comprehensive or more detailed information of the issues. Boleh? So make sure as we discuss, as I explained with regard to the case study as well as consultancy project, you need to know the background of the company, and after that, you also you need to focus what basically the main issues. Try to understand three main issues pertaining to the topics. For example, when we talk about human resource, maybe you try to find what basically three issues or problem or challenges experienced by the company in managing the human resource. Okay, and then after that you need to come up with the solution. That's it. Okay, so sekarang dah week keempat. So week keempat ni, that means you can start what we call it, macam saya cakap tadi, pilih company, develop the interview protocol, or perhaps you can also make a very quick CV if you want to. And then after that, try to communicate with the company by today or tomorrow lah. Tengok macam mana. So normally if you want to approach to the company, make sure you actually sign a proper, this is something yang saya nak kena remind, I need to remind to every one of you here. Make sure you actually use a professional email request. That means you send an email, so make sure you use a proper way, and then attach some kind of letter if possible. And if you have prepared the question, that's good. Okay, so regardless whether it's actually your friend, like you said, panggil aku aja, one of the co-founder, basically your friend, but still you need to go through this process. Can you do that? Okay, as a team assignment, group assignment. Boleh? Semua? Hello, feedback. Bisa?
Boleh, boleh
Good.
Doktor.
Okay, good everyone. So I've started sharing right now. So can we take break? Saya penat sekejap. Boleh? Can we take break for 5 minutes? Okay.
Yes, boleh.
Okay, thank you. Malini group mana Malini? Malini Selesa. Berapa?
Group 5.
Group 5, okey. Riwe group mana Riwe? Riwe Faiz, Iqbal, Fazli, Akmal
Yes, Doctor.
and Arfan. Your group nombor berapa?
2.
Lutfi group mana Lutfi? 6
Group 6 dokter.
Okay, good. Shikin Diana? Shikin? Shikin?
Doktor.
Okay, right now saya akan pergi ke breakout room. So you actually, I give you about like 10 minutes for you to discuss with regard to your topic just now, and then for those who just change your direction, that means the one that I've been advised. So you need to actually refine more with regard to the title, and then give me some feedback, boleh? And maybe you can start actually drafting 5 main question with regard to your topic that you're going to ask to the company. Boleh saya start breakout room? Saya cuba ni, saya tak pernah cuba.
Hi guys. Hi.
Hello guys. Hi. So now we need to discuss
Hello.
the questions or what doctor said just now.
Decoration?
No, questions for the interview.
Oh, question. I thought
Yeah.
decoration. uh, uh, wait, I think I will try to making a Google Drive so we can.
Okay guys. Hi, can you open your camera in the group? Okay, so for this group, siapa yang tak datang? Semua datang ya? Sabah in breakout room is asking for help. Okay, kejap saya nak pergi group 4 asking for help. Okay, Sabah Okay, nanti cakap dekat saya dan tulis dalam WhatsApp those yang tak datang. Group 1, Sabah absent. Saya nak tahu kenapa. So you sekarang ni, before you actually ask, I want you to actually responsible for the missing member. So kenapa dia tak datang? You need to know the reason. Boleh? Okay, contact Sabah. Thank you. Saya bagi group 4.
Why he didn't come, guys? Okay, I think I will make a Google Drive G Doc so we can access together. I think we can email them on Sunday lah, not today. Tadi kata what does doctor say, guys? How they develop the business? And then what else? I forgot.
Doktor tadi cakap, macam mana kan kita kan pilih skop business development kan. Lepas tu kita kena cari apa yang kita nak dalam business development tu untuk syarikat tu. And then kita develop 5 questions for interview. Itulah yang saya dengar.
Oh, like and ada specific request tak, like how they worked or ada, just like you wanna know.
Saya rasa dia nak tahu general je kot dulu. And then dia nak tanya question kita apa yang kita nak tanya.
Rasa I think online difference perspective. Yeah, I see. I'm still trying to look in there. It's really hard to find. What do we do? I think my first question, I don't know is it good or not, but like, how does company analyze the market need and decide to choose their specific product? Because in machine learning is a very big field. We have a lot of things like IoT in this and then automatic system. So I think the question should be like, how does company analyze the market and deciding to build the specific product? Where's Lim? Lim, where is Lim? Oh, I think yeah. I think if we are try if reach customer, it's more focused on marketing. This is the problem. I think I will try to Google what is this different concept. Hmm. Yeah. How does synapse? I think how does synapse? We will stream the lecture at 11. Oh, I think by budget.
Faik.
Yeah.
Kalau how you keep in touch with existing customer? Okay ke?
How boleh Aziza bantu type the specific question. Kita
Oh,
boleh.
okay. Okay, I type Okay, sekejap
Can we ask Dr. Umar to come here?
Oh, shoot. Oh,
Doctor, help us. Ah. Oh, I think the interesting one. How does Synapse is funding? Yeah, including like,
Mike, are you calling me?
yes, Doctor. Exactly, but Doctor, maybe Fight would like ask regarding business development. I think, can we know exactly, maybe Doctor overview or perspective what Doctor want to us to know
Sorry, could you
about business
repeat your
development?
question with regard to what development?
Yeah, business development, because the topic is about business development, right, Doctor, to the
Oh,
Synapse company. So we just maybe want to know Doctor perspective, or like what maybe the Doctor's overview can help us to know exactly what the question, because business development I think is really quite big for us to
correct.
know
I
the
do agree
specific question.
your views when we actually what we call it talking about this business development should be coming from many angle, and then definitely you're going to start with the history of the company progress because we want to assess the business development. So since it's actually coming from spin-off UTM company, so you're going to start how basically the founder commercialize the product from the patent. From I think he actually focused on copyright rather than patent, and then he actually need to pay the license to UTM, and how he basically managed to commercialize the IP, which is I think in the form of copyright, and
Is that proper?
basically he managed his business, okay, and then and more importantly when we talk about business development, you also need to ask him, for example, his future direction for the next 5 years. You got it? Okay, that means you need to assess from the what we call it early pace of the business. That means how it started, current one, and then from the current one, basically, definitely you actually want to ask him what basically the main business challenges that being experienced by the company. Most probably he going to share a lot of things with you, but try to focus in terms of what basically could you propose for him for the next 5 years, for example. You got it. So this is actually because I do understand the topic is quite broad, as you said. Okay, I do agree with that. However, trying to focus on certain aspect if possible. Okay, he's going to start with the with the early history of the business until now and what's next. That's it. Okay, Faik. I think I
Oh,
need to
yeah, it's okay, Doctor. Thank you
get
so
back to
much.
question. No worries.
So I think tadi Doktor cakap apa ya? Tak dengar.
Macam ni yang saya faham kan. Okay, kita kena tahu daripada mula dia start up, and then current now apa yang dia buat, and then after that dia future apa dia plan. And then dia performance semula kita kena macam strategi dia macam tu. Doktor nak daripada dulu sekarang dengan apa yang dia plan untuk future dia.
Oh ya,
Ah.
formalization.
Commercialization dia macam mana dia buat pattern, macam mana dia protect lah dia punya idea semua macam tu.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Right. Lepas tu, apa tadi yang tahun-tahun tu? 5 years, 5 years?
5 year tu yang untuk future.
Okay, so we are back to the main session right now. So the next aspect that I'm going to share with you, I think you have actually have an opportunity to discuss with your group mate. At least you have the idea. I know that some of you still not finalizing your key question yet. Take your time. Okay. So at least you have the idea. What I meant by the key question, definitely when you conduct the meeting letter, you need to have like 5 key questions, but under that key question, you might have additional questions. Simply we classify it as a probing question. That means you want to get more information. Okay. So most probably, okay, for example, when we conduct this kind of interview, for example, you want to ask about what basically the challenges faced by the company. Definitely some of your interviewees, sometimes they're quite reserved. So this is where you need to use this kind of interviewing technique. Okay, first of all, you need to expect what would be the answer. You just actually write it down. For example, maybe they're going to discuss about finance. They're going to discuss about recruiting talents, for example. Okay, so the moment they say some keywords, for example, like the main challenge that they face recruiting talent, so you actually have this kind of probing question. Okay, for example, you're going to ask again, so what kind of talent that they need? Okay, what difficulty that they basically experience to hiring or to recruit the talent? So that means you can expect few other answer. But more importantly, like I advise, try to draft at least 5 key questions and have this kind of expectation of answer. That means the expected answer. And then you also have additional question or probing question in order for you to have more information. Okay, jangan bila buat interview, dia tanya sepatah, that mean you ask one question and then the interviewee just answer one word. And then you proceed to the next question. Okay, so make sure when it comes to the interview, so this is I'm going to train you how to be a qualitative interviewers. You try to actually catch the keywords and ask more and more. Okay, because you need to position yourself as someone who looking for more information or detail. Having said that, you need to position yourself, for example, you as a journalist. Okay, wartawan. Wartawan bahasa Indonesia apa ya? Wartawan, okay?
Reporter.
Reporters, okay. Reporters, okay? So more or less something like that, okay? That means try to ask the question to get more information. Okay, wisata, Faiz kata wisata, okay? Okay, so next I'm going to share with you chapter 2. I hope that I can cover at least half of chapter 2 by today. So chapter 2 more or less is focused on technology evolution. So this is basically the outline for chapter 2. I hope that by today I can focus on at least 5 aspects, okay? Why technology tend to develop in evolutionary manner. And then I believe that during your technology management class, you have learned about S-curve, technology S-curve, which is we actually measure the effort and outcome of the company when it comes to technology evolution or development, and then you're able to spell out the pro and cons of using technology as curve. And then there actually a model called Abernethy and Atterbeck model, which is developed from S-curve as well. If you look here, okay, at least we actually managed to cover 5 main things for today. Okay, and then definitely under the Abernethy and Atterbeck model, we actually discuss about dominant design, whereby it's going to be emerged after the technical standard has been emerged in the technology. And then define and explain radical and incremental technological change. This is also related with Abernethy and Atterbeck model, whereby we're going to focus on process and product innovation and how this is basically related with radical and incremental technological change. And then number 8, summarize the modification that research have made to the Abernethy and Atterbeck model. There are a lot of things that has been emerged, okay? based on Abernethy and Tibet model. And number 9, architectural innovation, we're going to discuss next lecture, as well as identify the type of innovation that new and established firms are each better suited to develop. Okay, so when we talk about evolutionary pattern of development, this is where we actually look in terms of the process that begin by scientific discoveries and end with commercial product that are adopted by a wide range of customers. For example, when people actually talking in terms of vaccine COVID-19, definitely it start with this kind of basic scientific discovery. People will do R&D, for example, and then many companies, pharmaceutical companies are doing that because they want to become the leader. And then we actually going to the phase of commercial the product, okay? And the product adopted by a wide range of customers. So this is what happening if you see from that perspective. Similarly, when we talk about other new technology, okay, when we talk about like electric vehicle, EV, okay, electric vehicle, whereby currently many companies are doing that. Even like in Malaysia, we actually just finished, like I think one company just actually completed a prototype of electric car. I couldn't actually remember the name of that company. So this is actually one of the product that be made by Malaysian company. So again, this is actually still under this kind of R&D phase, which is the simply refers to the basic scientific discoveries, which is not into commercialization yet. Even from the university perspective, many of our research basically can be classified as basic scientific research. That means it's very fundamental. It's not ready enough to be commercialized, let alone to be marketed to the mass customers. Okay. Okay, so when we talk about this, I think has been learned in many subjects as well, evolution of technology. So definitely it's going to start with technology invention, okay, new technology invented. So this is where, when it comes to this, we simply call as a product innovation, and then technology evolve and performance improve. So after the technology has been introduced, so this is where a lot of things happen. That means people going to focus more in terms of process innovation, most probably. Okay, and then or perhaps product innovation can also come into picture here, because people want to what we call it promote new technology to the customers, and then product introduced to the market. So again, the process is actually ongoing. Okay, and then here the technology strategies or managers need to refine the technology and develop new generation of product. So as you can see that, like mobile phone, okay, so the moment it's actually being launched, so basically it's always a room for betterment, and finally better product adopted by more people. Okay, okay, so the benefit will actually goes to the people, okay, to the customers. Okay, so this is we talking in terms of drivers of technological innovation. Definitely, from the researchers' perspective, they want to develop from the prior knowledge. That means they want to make a new discovery. Okay, so this is from researchers' perspective. Even those what we call it tech geek, we call it, they don't actually focus much in terms of profitability. Yes, profitability basically what we call it a foundation for the company, but some of them is totally engrossed with this kind of technology. They're always looking for a new solution. They want to make the better the world is actually a better place to live, for example. Okay, here for example, as simple as I think I have mentioned about Bill Gates, right? Okay, saya ada cerita tak pasal Bill Gates sekarang ni, apa yang dia buat? Dah cerita kan? Okay, because Bill Gates basically focus on another aspect. All this while, when we actually discuss about Bill Gates, we always looking Bill Gates as what? Guys, kalau kita cakap pasal Bill Gates, apa you tahu pasal Bill Gates ni?
Billionaire.
No, Iron Man tu Elon Musk. I'm not talking about Elon Musk. I'm talking about Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Apa yang, yes, Microsoft, that's true. Okay, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft. Okay, it's quite interesting lah. Okay, right now, Bill Gates, because he's actually not so called active as before, even though he's still advisor for Microsoft because he's the founders. Okay, but he actually has another startup. Okay, he has so many kind of things that he currently doing under his foundation called Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations. Okay, for example, one of the thing that quite interesting that he's quite visionary. He want to actually transform the way we using the energy, okay, because due to his concern of the global warming happening nowadays, so he actually said that we cannot rely heavily on petroleum or fossil fuel based petroleum or petrol, okay, because it's totally bring harm to the environment and our world is not really sustainable. Okay, so what he's doing right now, he actually want to convert something that very controversial, which is using the nuclear source as the main source of energy. Do you know about this, guys? Saya dah share belum dalam kelas ni? Saya pun lupa lah dia jawab betul.
Belum, Bill Gates belum cerita.
Okay, so this is kalau tengok Bill Gates, dia banyak buat benda dah bawah Bill and Melinda Foundation. For example, one of the thing that dia buat is actually he want to come up with this kind of, because he under Bill and Melinda Foundation, they really focus on what we call as social innovation, how to make world a better place. It's not about just giving money donation, no, because as we know, Bill Gates is very tech guy, okay, is very into this kind of innovation and technology. Okay, so and Bill Gates is actually, I would say that he's actually what we call it avid readers. That means he read a lot of books, and then he actually fast learner. He just simply read the book, skimming, not read lah, he's skimming the book, and then he definitely catch all the information, important information, and from that he actually know about what's happening in the world. Okay, so many of his initiative basically not direct engagement with the community, but through his reading. That's why sometimes people actually learning about other people through reading. Am I right? Okay, so this is what happened to Bill Gates. He can read a lot of book, 100 of books within a week. So that he's very powerful. Even though he's basically dropped out from university, but he's very genius. Okay, so basically one of the things that he's doing, let me share with you lah. Kita kena masa lagi. So basically, we quite blessed because in our world, sanitation or waste is actually quite controllable, but not actually happening in the third world country. So what he actually did, he actually developed this kind of what we call it waste, okay, sanitation waste. You faham tak sanitation waste ni apa? Kumbahan, sisa kumbahan. Faham tak? Apa nak terjemahkan? Kalau Malay student, you faham kan sisa kumbahan? Hello?
Yes.
Baik.
Yes.
Doktor.
Saya nak cakap apa bahasa Indonesia? I know the Malay student will understand. Kumbahan, sanitation. That means apa nak cakap How we actually going to describe that? You buang air. Buang air, senang cerita. You buang air besar. So basically, najis. Okay, thank you Izzah. Okay, you buang air besar. So najis yang besar you tu basically kalau dekat certain tempat, particularly in the third world country, in the remote area, dia memang actually not really manageable. And having said that, that's the reason why they're having this kind of diarrhea, a lot of disease happen. Okay, and they actually lack of water supply. Tempat yang dia ambil air, tempat tu lah tempat yang sama. You got it? Okay, I'm so sorry. Tekak saya mau berkembang sikit. Okay, so basically, Bill Gates, they actually try to find a solution for this place located, if I'm not mistaken, in South Africa, in the third world country lah. Okay, in a remote area in South Africa. Okay, so basically, he tried to find the solution. Okay, so what he did, okay, he cannot do it alone, okay, because of this is actually should be joined with other kind of forces as well. So one of the things that he made for the past 10 years, basically dia pernah buat competition because he want to find a solution how we actually could assist this kind of people, what we call it, dapat air and dapat you can get clean water, and at the same time they actually not having sanitation problem. Okay, so what basically that he did under Melinda and Gates Foundations, okay, he know that he cannot control everything, but he made this kind of initiative. He made the competition, many universities participate. Okay, he the one that gave the sponsor, okay, in terms of the price. And then fortunately through that he actually discovered one thing which is the solution, which is quite interesting. That means you can simply, this is actually happen in Singapore as well, because Singapore, even though they're a very small country, and many of the water basically supplied by Johor state government sebenarnya. Okay, kalau you tahulah perjanjian 100 tahun. Okay, so basically back to this kind of story. So he actually managed to create a very big facilities in order to transform this into energy, something like that. Okay, so that's actually one thing. The second part that he's actually trying to solve through under Bill and Gates Foundation is polio. You know, polio disease. Okay, in Malaysia, Alhamdulillah, I think in mid 1980s we already have 0 polio case. Okay, but in certain countries it's still happening. Okay, so this is where it's quite interesting, because Bill Gates he started to receive this kind of fame simply because during that time when he was a student before, when he was at the high school, okay, he went to the high school. The US system is quite different, because they actually give more freedom for the student to choose what subject they want to take for that semester, for that year, for example. So one of the main problem that happened in the US education system, okay, where he lived basically, is in terms of education, in terms of the timetable, student timetable. So it's very problematic for the lecturers to what we call it, for the teachers, for the school to manage this kind of timetable. Okay, you rasa apa yang dia buat? Guys, what do you think that he did? So basically, tak tahu So basically, they're actually using this kind of algorithm kind of technique in order to solve, to know the pattern of the student movement, and he managed to come up with this kind of system. Okay, this is computer system lah. Sebenarnya computer system ni from mathematics. That means Bill Gates is very good in mathematics. Even computer is actually the product of mathematics. Do you agree with me, guys? Yes, the binary code, so on and so forth lah. Okay, even the father of mathematics, one of the fathers is called Alan Turing. Yes, that's the name. Okay, from Manchester University, if not mistaken. Manchester ke mana? Ke King's College? I'm not. So you can read the what we call it. Kejap saya mute. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is I want to share with you a very interesting about Alan Turing. You pernah dengar tak nama Alan Turing ni? Alan, if I'm not mistaken, boleh Google nanti. Alan Turing. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, kalau betul lah tu nama. Betul ke? Alan. Okay, so this is one of the fathers, the Alan Turing. Yes, Alan Turing. You boleh Google lah pasal dia. So basically he's basically mathematician lah sebenarnya. Okay, so this is he actually considered as the what we call it as the one of the father of computer science. Okay, when we talk about Alan Turing ni, dia sangatlah macam what we call it, the story is quite interesting lah. But I just want to mention one of the interesting theory or interesting story of Alan Turing ni. They actually able to predict the what we call it, the incident of war, battle. For example, during that time, England, which is UK, like England, basically have a war with Germany. Okay, so basically dia menggunakan mathematics, which is they try to actually decode one of the sophisticated tools by Germany company called Enigma, which is sebenarnya benda ni sangat important because dalam perang normally they will be using this kind of language. So he started with this kind of thing in order to solve this kind of enigma problem. Okay. So nak cerita dekat you lah. So basically you boleh tengok pasal enigma. If I'm not mistaken, enigma kot. Okay. Is it true? You boleh check lah if I'm not mistaken. Enigma. Yes, enigma. Okay, I think the enigma. Okay, memang ada dia punya cerita enigma. Yes, correct. So that's actually yang you boleh nampak. So they solve this kind of things, and then from that lah sebenarnya this kind of coding happen. Okay, because they make the language. So back to Bill Gates punya cara ni sama juga sebenarnya. So basically, through this kind of thing they are using algorithm sama juga macam yang apa Alan Turing buat to solve the enigma, and then he actually managed to reduce the casualties of battle significantly. That's actually happen lah. Okay, so back to the Bill Gates punya story. So basically what Bill Gates is doing right now, he managed to actually not solve that in total, but he managed to reduce the number of folio punya disease happening in Nigeria. Okay, because dia bukan bagi vaksin je sebenarnya. From this kind of theory, they try to solve when basically the situation happen and how basically it's going to be distributed. That's why lah sebenarnya sama Malaysia tak tahulah dia buat macam mana distribution of vaccine. See, Bill Gates, they actually solve that kind of things because the distribution of vaccine should actually have this kind of system. Itu yang sebenarnya dibuat oleh Bill Gates semasa dia cuba reduce the number of polio disease in Nigeria. Okay, through Bill and Melinda Gates. And the last, which is the big thing that Bill Gates is currently doing is actually try to produce or try to promote this kind of nuclear power, because nuclear is something that very sensitive. People are reluctant to focus on nuclear power simply because of simply because of controversy lah, because nuclear ni yang create war dan sebagainya. Okay, so under this kind of thing, so kalau you nampak Steve Jobs dia buat satu company, Steve Jobs lagi aku sebut, Bill Gates buat satu company, Terra Power. Okay, so this is they actually want to develop nuclear punya innovation. Please actually have a look in terms of Terra Power. They actually try to negotiate lah sebenarnya, because all of this unfortunately sebenarnya bila Bill Gates nampak benda ni, one of the thing that Bill Gates is looking forward is actually the resource. And you know resource should be coming from which country you rasa? When it comes to this kind of things, guys? Faham tak soalan saya ni? Okay, Bill Gates dia nak buat this kind of innovation, okay, like Terra Power, which is focuses on nuclear, but he need to depend the resources at one country. You rasa dengan siapa dia kena depends? China. Thank you very much, Human. China. Okay, so it's happened the moment it's very ironic. You boleh tengok macam mana dia punya story. The moment they want to actually go into what we call it bigger scale, kan? Okay, pada ketika itulah, during that time, Donald Trump basically made announcement banning many kind of transaction with China. So that's why they stop. Dia terpaksa stop. So Bill Gates actually need to stop immediately because of the regulation from the US government. And right now they started to resume it again. This is actually people are talking about Terra Power. Okay, since sekarang ni Joe Biden already eased this kind of regulation, even with the Middle East countries, for example. So the company started to continue with this kind of effort lah. Okay, so again, why they want to use this kind of thing? Because nuclear is a very big energy. Because that's the reason why it can create atomic bomb dan sebagainya lah, bomb nuclear. Okay, so basically Bill Gates want to transform this kind of big scale energy from nuclear into a sustainable energy. So that's actually the idea of Bill Gates. Memang they actually try to develop this kind of thing. You boleh tengok the story is quite interesting. This is the future technology lah sebenarnya. Okay. And then we're talking in terms of social, economic and political forces. Indari saya dah cerita dah tadi. Social contohnya Bill Gates, dia nak solve this kind of polio problem, sanitation problem. As well as global warming problem. Okay, economic definitely is part of how basically we evolve based on the economic and political forces. Sama juga, for example, okay, all of this is actually should be pushed by political will. Okay, macam saya cakap tadi, not only inside but also the global political landscape. Okay. Especially from the powerful country like the US, China, so on and so forth lah. Okay, and then you also need to project. This is where the technology trajectories, which is you're going to actually estimate what would be the next technology. Okay, we cannot be comfortable with our current situation. I think we have discussed a lot of example what happened to Nokia, Kodak, what else? Company ni which is they cannot Friendster. Okay, they couldn't survive because they don't actually estimate what future will be, and they're quite late to embrace with that kind of investment. Okay, and last but not least, paradigm shift necessary to create new opportunities. Okay, so we go to the next aspect. I believe you already know about this term already. This is quite basic term, which is radical and incremental technological change. So most technical innovation is incremental. Yes, we cannot deny. For example, the improvement of car, improvement of telephone, smartphone, improvement of many things basically considered as incremental. We just improve the function as well as the features of the current product or technology. So like here involves small improvement to existing technologies. But some technological innovation is radical and involve fundamentally new ways of solving a problem. Okay, for example, macam saya cakap tadi lah, nuclear energy that want to be developed by TerraPower. For me, it's something that quite controversial. As well as if it's actually could be realized into a reality, definitely it's totally solve some problem, particularly global warming problem. Okay, so we go to the next aspect, which is very important. Have you learned about technology S curve? Oh, kita lupa kat dalam ni, in my class there's one siapa yang sini? Arif Kurniawan ke siapa yang you are basically minor student. Anyone? Saya tak ingat lah. Faik ke Arif Kurniawan?
Saya doktor.
Siapa? Faik. Okay, so you dah belajar ni? Pernah belajar teknologi S-curve?
Pernah pas manajemen teknologi kelas.
Okay, yes. Okay, having said that, this is quite a basic kind of model where we try to discuss the evolution and development of a technology innovation. Okay, so graphical representation of development of new technology compares some measures of performance with some measure of effort, as I mentioned just now. So what basically effort that being taken, which is sometimes it can be measured in terms of the investment made, or perhaps the cost that being incurred, or perhaps the time that has been taken, as well as the performance. That means the outcome of your technology. Okay, the relationship between effort and performance is typically shaped. Okay, so initially performance improvement per unit of effort are small because normally during that time people are not pretty sure yet in terms of the adoption of it, in terms of perhaps the delivery or the production of that technology. So once key driver of performance are identified, rapid improvement follows. That's very true. That means the moment they know how to operate, or the way to develop the technology is getting more efficient. So that means it's going to be more faster than the previous pace. And last but not least, after they already achieved the peak period, so this is where they're going to face what we call as diminishing return as physical limit reach. Okay, so I think this is a very simple illustration of how the technology S-curve for Intel Semiconductors. If you look here, so they actually measure the efforts from the perspective of cumulative expenditure on R&D, and then the number of transistors, the number of output, okay, that has been produced by the company. This is actually S-curve. Okay. Okay. So this is some of the technological improvement with regard to the NS curve. As we said, that tend to be incremental. Okay, building on prior development and taking place within an existing paradigm. Okay, so definitely it's going to start to improve phase by phase, not really radical. Okay, and then usually done by established firm. So this is how basically the incumbent, perhaps the existing company are doing when it comes to the technological innovation. Okay, so they have existing technical, market, and organizational capabilities. They have an existing customer base, and they have access to internal cash flow to invest. So as you need to actually know, okay, especially when you want to conduct the interview letter lah, okay. So what kind of company would you classify your firm? Some of the company that you're going to approach, I would say that they actually are very new in the industry, even though they already shown some kind of financial what we call it improvement in operating their business. However, in comparison with the existing company, perhaps they are relatively new. Okay, so here we actually talking from the perspective of established firm. They are actually have more resources. They actually have more customers. They know who is the customers as well as suppliers as well, and they have more cash to do that. Okay, so the next aspect we actually looking in terms of shifting S-curve. Okay, so this is happen when existing technology reach the point of diminishing return. Okay, that means the technology is become not so popular or obsolete already. So they need to move to another kind of technology. So this is what we call as shifting S-curve. A new technology is often developed to challenge the existing technology. Yes, okay. Initially, the new technology is usually inferior to existing technology on key dimension. Okay, perhaps during the introduction of a new technology, many customers are not really familiar, okay, with the new technology. That's why they're more inclined to use the existing technology. But over time, so I think this is reflecting in terms of the adoption of technology. Normally, people are quite skeptical to use the technology that are totally new. They want to observe what basically the feedback given by early majority or those who actually adopt the technology first. Once they're convinced, they're going to use that. That's one part. Secondly, this is also happen because of the moment you actually go into this kind of new technology, so the price might be what we call it higher due to the higher cost in producing that technology. But the moment you actually manage to penetrate more, that means you already achieve the economy of scale. Okay, you scale up the business and you will be able to reduce the cost by producing more and buying more resources. But new technology has greater potential for performance improvement, since we always claim that by having this kind of new technology or new approach is going to improve what we call it is going to improve the productivity of the firm. Okay, my question to you: do you agree that the new technology is better than the existing technology? Maybe you can actually take any kind of example from your point of view. Any question? Any suggestion with regard to my question? You faham tak ni? Do you understand? Guys? Hello? Hello? Faham ke tak? Do you understand by this kind of what we call it from the slide, you actually ask about shifting S-curve? Any feedback? Or I want to get overview. Do you understand? If yes, could you actually share some point of view from your understanding? Yes, please. Okay. Thank you very much, Chris. I think that's very true what you said. Because like you said, people sometimes when they actually know about a new technology, they don't willing to adopt that because they believe that their existing technology is much more stable. Even though maybe what has been offered by the new technology is much more advanced and could increase the productivity. Okay. And more importantly, some people they actually think that they don't want to the what we call it, the learning curve, sorry, the time taken to learn new technology sometimes might take sometimes. Okay, so that's why they don't want to use it at the early stage of the new technology. So this is actually the example where we actually discuss about improvement in traditional telecom switching with the new technology VoIP. What is VoIP? Kita dah discuss belum? Do you know what is VoIP? Anyone? Akmal, do you know what is VoIP?
No, ada.
No, okay. Iqbal tahu tak VoIP tu apa?
Tak tahu doktor.
Dia buat sedih sangat. Okay, Lutfi. Lutfi tahu tak? Do you know? Hello? Ada orang left pula. Hello? Do you know what is VoIP? Irdina. Tadi Irdina tak ada kan? Irdina baru masuk ni. Irdina. What do you understand by VoIP? We are doing it right now actually. Irdina? Hello?
Voice over Internet Protocol.
Pandainya. Bagi contoh.
Contoh dia telefon servis.
Ini telefon servis lah ni. Kita bincang pasal telefon servis. Okay. So voice
Tak
over
sure doktor.
protocol. Traditionally, we just use this kind of normal cable for us to communicate. Am I right? But since we actually start to introduce this kind of, one of the pioneer lah, I believe during that time like Skype for example. So voice over internet protocol, apa yang saya tengah buat dengan awak ni lah dia sebenarnya. Okay, so this is the new technology whereby you can transfer, you can communicate through internet. Okay, voice over internet protocol. Previously, if you remember, okay, so even there's a phone produced by Skype because Skype one of the early or pioneer for voice over internet protocol. So if you want to make a call by using this kind of internet connection, even it's not so stable compared than today. So this is something that happened, I believe in the mid 2000 lah, okay. So sekarang ni dia dah jadi macam dia dah talk over. That's why saya tanya dekat awak, berapa ramai rumah you yang sekarang ni pakai telefon rumah? Macam cakap the normal phone. Okay, because many houses sekarang ni pun dah tak pakai telefon rumah kan. Okay, dah lama tak ada. Thank you Nuriza. Yeah, so basically this is what we can illustrated from S-curve punya shifting S-curve ni. Okay, people actually start to shift by having a normal phone that connected through cable. Even during that time, I remember we actually using LAN. I couldn't remember what is LAN all about. LAN, LAN, access network, local access network. Okay, we using LAN during that time. Masa saya student dulu, you quite privileged. Saya rasa kalau kena buat online learning macam ni, pitam. Simply because during that time, for me to use internet, saya kena using phone punya cable, connect. Masa tu ada dia punya connection lah, connect. Okay, and then kena dial baru boleh connect dengan internet. Okay, so during that time we are using LAN, but right now it's everything wireless, even through this kind of VoIP, as you can see here. Okay, we can actually not only make a call, but we also make a video call. Okay, sama LAN selalu kena curi. Okay, thank you. Okay, who shift the S-curve? Who shift the S-curve? So this is some of the people who actually shift from here to here. That means when we talk about the shifting S-curve, so this is some of the situation where S-curve has been shifted by the new entrants. Okay, usually new entrants. Okay, because of incumbent have no incentive to introduce new technology. Incumbent have investment in existing technology, product based on new technology cannibalize incumbent sales. Okay, so that means sometimes, so that's actually what happened for Kodak. Okay, Kodak is not Kodak basically one of the leading company in photography, camera, for example. During that time, they control everything, the camera, the image processing, and then what else? The film during that time. Okay, but they quite late. Okay, to actually embrace with this kind of digital camera. Not because of they couldn't actually produce it. They have this kind of technology. They already invented digital camera back in 1975, but when people started to commercialize digital camera in the early 2000, they quite late to follow that kind of trend, simply because first they're quite comfortable with what they are doing. They control almost 60 or 70% of the US market during that time. Okay, and eventually they actually face what we call it loss. Okay, and couldn't able to become the leader in the digital camera business. Okay, so this is some of the factors lah. Okay, why and how this kind of S-curve has been shifted by the new entrants. Okay, and then the next aspect, incumbent can predict when to invest in a radical new technology. Yes, okay, using the S-curve. So that's why S-curve can be used as a management tool. It's a very powerful technology strategy. We need to predict when the new, what we call it, technology will come in. If you look here from the S-curve, as we discussed just now, so basically the introduction of VoIP, masa tu saya pun tak nak pakai VoIP. Even I have few friends who started to use VoIP. Okay, for example, they use Skype phone, for example, but I don't like it due to the fact that it's very not quality voice. Okay, it's very shaky voice when you use this kind of VoIP, and more importantly, it consume a lot of data pada ketika itu. Okay, and then it's very expensive lah. But since right now many people are start adopting it, even if you see we are using WhatsApp, so WhatsApp can simply make a call. Sebelum ada WhatsApp, kita guna Viber ke apa? There's one app which is focusing on this kind of thing. Okay, okay. So saya pergi laju je, and then so but there are some limitation due to this kind of S-curve, as you can see here. The inability to identify when to switch technologies. We do not know when actually the right time. Okay, so that's why it's such a risk for the company to simply switch from from the existing technology to the new technology, and then the failure to incorporate all the factors that matters to the decision to switch. That means they need to actually consider about the ROI, and then the second part in terms of their ability to find talent, to find the key resources, for example, and then the need for adopters of the new technology to focus on niche markets before tackling the mainstream to the of the market. So this is actually they also need to see how fast basically the customers going to adopt with the new technology, and last but not least, the existence of alternative ways to respond to the introduction of new technology. So this is some of the limitation why some companies are quite late, okay, when it comes to the shifting of S-curve S-curve situation from prior technology, from the existing technology to the new technology. So I think that's all for today for next aspect, because the next aspect is going to discuss about ability at the back model. This is quite important model basically for this topic. Have you learned about this model, guys? Pernah belajar tak Abernethy and Atterbeck model? Not yet. Okay, it's okay. So we're going to discuss this during our next class. Okay. Saya tengok macam mana nanti saya akan what we call it confirm. But this is very important for this topic. Okay. I'm going to say that this topic, saya terang cakap, this topic is actually one of the topic that going to be asked either through in test ataupun in final exam. Because by next week saya akan start buat final exam question. Okay, so but this topic is very interesting because it's reflecting the technology strategy that going to be adopted by That means the model that can be used as the technology strategy that are going to be adopted by the managers or entrepreneurs. I think that's all for today. Any questions before I end the session right now? Ada soalan tak? So right now, all of you can start the groundwork for your assignment. Okay, you boleh start daripada sekarang. Okay, make sure try to approach the customer. Okay, yang masih ada yang belum lagi ambil attendance, so I'm going to share again. For those who have sign in the attendance, you may leave the session right now. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Okay. Do take care. The pandemic is still not over yet. So whenever you go outing, that means you go outside of your house. Okay. Make sure you take care of yourself. Okay. Please scan the attendance. Everyone. So siapa yang dah sudah scan attendance, those who have scanned the